Hello, and welcome to another Drawing Tips stream. If you don't know me, I am Brian Shearer. I have worked on G.I. Joe and Transformers and Doctor Who, the comic books, and as well as my own stuff. William the Last over on Webtoon, which is kind of on hiatus at the moment, and Gunship Thunder Punch right up here, my latest robot book. And we're going to talk about foreshortening today. We're going to foreshorten figures. We had a request in the community post for that, and I have also gone through and updated the schedule. So Monday and Wednesdays, 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, are the Drawing Tips stream. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, me and Siege will be on working on NFT art projects. So that's what's going on right now. But let's get our stuff going on. Share screen, get the music going here while we go for about an hour, and we'll talk. Jim O'Reilly is here. What, Brian, on your lunch break? What? Is this your lunch break, or are you talking about the other stream? At 3 in the morning, because I scheduled these out yesterday, a whole week's worth. Said Mr. Infinity said, hope I'll get to watch before class. I don't know if he's here. All right, so foreshortening for you art people. By the way, here's a little preview of Gunship Thunder Punch, the latest page. This is kind of a fun one. But by the way, foreshortening would actually be this line right here. But we're going to talk about exaggerating things a little bit more. I've got my coffee. I hope you got yours. And you got to drink it before it gets cold. That's the rule. All right, so let me get my blue pencil and we will draw. So foreshortening, right? Foreshortening, it tries to emulate when something is closer to the camera, right? So if you see my fist here, right? This is foreshortened. It's kind of accentuated because of the camera. But we try to exaggerate things for dramatic purposes, action purposes, to make things more visually interesting. So you're simulating that, things being closer to the viewer. So for example, let's start with an easy one. What I just did, right? The fist in your face. So we'll start with a little, I'll try to draw small here. I have a bad habit of drawing too large on this thing. So we got a guy here. And then his fist is going to appear very large. This is the easiest one. This is the one that is easy to kind of do, you know. If nothing else, you just drew a big fist. Maybe a part of his forearm is here. All right, so this is the bare minimum. This is what foreshortening is, okay? Now, the more interesting we make it would be to push it. So you could actually push this other arm way back here. And then maybe his leg as well, right? You're distorting perspective. This is going to be very rough because we're just talking as we go. Good morning, Past Master Dan over there in the chat, right? So this is, so the foot would be foreshortened. Maybe we'll bend this, please. Okay, so this is kind of a very simple one. In a lot of manga, you see some really interesting foreshortened things. Kind of like a fisheye, a little bit. So like looking down, right? Well, it's like we're going to take, maybe we'll do like if you're doing perspective, by the way, you don't have to make it perfect. I don't even know if that was what I wanted. I was talking in the middle of that. But anyway, we'll see like we're looking down and then this is going that way. I'm just roughing in stuff. So you can do it with the head, right? So we're looking. Maybe this character is looking off in this direction. And then very quickly we're gonna distort things. So we're not quite sticking to, for comics, we're not really, in dramatic purposes, we're not sticking right to a strict perspective line. We'll say this is a girl. Okay, so we're gonna already right down where her stomach is. Things start overlapping, getting more and more distorted. Maybe she sees something here. She's reaching up on a shelf or something, right? But it's more towards the viewer. So this actually would not be if it, there we go. Let's say she's got her hand way up here. It's all the distortion is in relation to the viewer. You really wouldn't do it over that way like I did, but you can push it even more, make her hand even bigger. So it's hard to say, like, you know, by the numbers, what's going to work. You kind of have to play with it. You could be like, let's say we got a worm's eye view here. So we'll have, again, still employing the stuff we talked about last week, where you have the head, the torso, the hips pointing in different directions. I mean, obviously not in every case, but if you want an easy way to make something dynamic, we'll have maybe the head looking this way. We're going to start with more cylinders here. And the hips pointing the same way as the head. But this would be like a foreshortening. Works really well with like giants too, right? This would be like, maybe this is a giant. And this foot here. Oops. Well, what Shay asked, I got to put these up on the screen because not everybody is on the same platform here. Over on Facebook says, what would you say is the most challenging thing to draw? Hands. Hands are tricky. So like here we got this foot here. I'm kind of cheating it because I don't want to smash her head. But you can, like, let's just say there's a building here, right? He's in the city. He's a giant now. This hand is way back here. This one comes here. It's a little bit bigger because it's still closer to the viewer. And this foot here. So we'll say, yeah, foreshortening. You can use foreshortening on large objects to, like, you could put this, all stuff, everything that's in the background, you could make faded, kind of atmospheric stuff. You could make not as much detail. Whatever's closer to the viewer is going to have the most detail. So that would be, you know, this leg. Maybe all you see is just a shadow of the eyes up here, whatever, the face, and a shadow back here. There's different ways you can do it, but see what else we can do. You can do, see if we can do different figures. So let's do something simple. So maybe we've got Two guys fighting or something. Maybe he'll have like a sword that he's getting ready to. A crappy sword, but got that hand out there. Maybe he's just getting ready to launch at somebody. Sugar and cream or black? I mean, my coffee black. Straight up. I hate to put sugar in it, but not anymore. All right, so this guy's kind of turned away from us. And then maybe this guy here is, you know, just a guy way down here challenging him. Anyway, you can kind of see like this little distortion. What else we got? We got you know, somebody flying, right? Superman or somebody. His hands would be large. And then we could push his. We'll even do his simple, why not? But then his you know, feet way back here. He's just happy to be flying. Well, having to go through TSA. All right. So, and remember, because a lot of people make this mistake, anatomy tip, the shoulder comes down on the outside of the pec, not the bicep. Do his little cape there. Ooh, it's a ratty cape. All right, so I should save this. Save as foreshortening. That's, oh, that's the right one. Okay. Save. All right, so good morning, Trench. At any point, if you have any questions, please throw them up in there in the chat. But like anytime you turn a box, for example, things get foreshortened technically. They just may not be exaggerated. Say this is a square or a perfect cube, but we're looking at it from this side. This angle, these are foreshortened, right? Because they're supposed to be the same size as this. But anytime you turn an object, it's going to be like things get squeezed because you're trying to create the illusion of a three-dimensional space. So foreshortened, right? But in comics, when people talk about foreshortening, what they mean is this, but to an extreme. And usually with figures. That's what throws people off. If you're drawing things in 3 dimensions, you're already foreshortening. You just got to push it. Captain Kirk, I have a feeling it's not the real Captain Kirk. How do you draw eyes in perspective when a foreshortening eyes? Okay. So let's see here. So let's have a head. And let's say that this is one of those weird foreshortened things. Like, so you can divide the head up into the planes. It might help be a little more blocky, right? So here we've got perspective, and the eyes here they're going to become more, they're going to be on this side of the head or facing this way. So anytime you foreshorten eyes, they're going to, like the eye that's furthest away from you is going to compress a little bit. So let me draw the nose here. So if eyes are obviously like this, straight on, as that oval, that circle goes further away from you, it's going to get narrower, look like it's pushed kind of in. So, for example, all right, so imagine like when you see an eye to the side, right? The nose, there's a mouth. So as the eye turns, things become more oval. There's the pupil. And then as it turns towards you, it's round. So if you're going from here to here, this side, if I drew all the way through, it would be like a smaller. I don't know if this is making sense, Captain Kirk. Let me know if I'm not explaining it very well. But there, I'm, basically going in pretty straight perspective. I've never really tried to push the eye. Let me try that. This might look weird. Let's just use the same one. If we had like a crazy, like big eye. See, I mean, that works. But what I've done is that one, because it's further away, I'm pushing that perspective by compressing that circle into more of an oval than this one, but kind of keeping it along that line. This guy looks crazy. So yeah, circles get compressed into ovals. Let me see here. It's making sense. I just run into the issue of not being able to capture the eye expression in the foreshortened view, but I'm getting the understanding. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so we'll just try to do some difference. Let's try some expressions in foreshortening. It'll be a good exercise. It could be a disaster. So let's do well, every time you do a character looking up, right? That's foreshortening. Because things get compressed as like you look up. So here's the nose would be like here. So we're looking up their nose. But then the eye is going to be, it's going to like come up, almost appear like it's touching the eye. But we're compressing this way now. Like this person looks like because the eyebrows, for example, they're getting compressed more to the top of the head, like they're getting ready to go around the horizon. The cheek is way up here. The ear looks like it drops down a little bit. This is very rough, but you get the idea. So eyebrows are important. So let's do the same pose. See if we can do a different expression. Okay, this person was like, what? Huh? So now we'll go same type of thing, but we'll do angry. Eyebrows are going to make a difference, of course. Mouth. It's everything kind of working together. Eyebrow. Kusmeti says eyebrows are very important. I totally agree. wrinkles. And the foreshortening in this particular one I did was more like the head. Everything is kind of coming up here, but I could exaggerate the body, like we're maybe even draw a huge fist here, right? There'll still be some foreshortening. Just looking to the side, maybe. Because the foreshortening specifically with like, it's not gonna be, I can't imagine too exaggerated within the face. That would be a very weird shot. But you still are like looking to the side. Okay, here's surprised. If you want surprised or wide eye, don't have the pupils touching the edge of the eye here. Okay, so there's surprised that way with this eye foreshortened. In fact, this whole side of the face, if we divide the face in our half, this whole side is compressed, right? This is bigger. Everything's kind of getting distorted as it moves away. And then if we do, we'll do angry. The same view. Still compressed. I don't know if that helps. That's kind of what you're talking about. And then hands, for example, if you have a hand, we got cylinders, but some things are going to be hid and overlap. Remember, draw the box of French fries. Trench says, I think I need to rewatch this 4 times to get it right. Mondays are for Atari Force, says Hyper Potato. And if we really want to exaggerate things, oh, look, the guy's way over here. Looking over his shoulder. That would be very extreme, but just for the hand. Just doing cylinders, basic shapes. Has everyone sipped, saved, liked, and subscribed? Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. If you haven't hit the bell for notifications, do that. And leave a comment if you're watching this later. Let me know what else you'd like to see. What other art tips and whatnot. What other? Let's do another little. Do some smaller figures here. See how far can we push these things? There's a what's going here? Going on here? Did he trip? Shay over on Facebook says shadowing is my issue when it comes to portraits or cartoon characters. We'll do some. I'll make a note of that. We'll do a shading one. So a good also tip here for which, if this foot is forward, the opposite arm typically will be forward. So we're going to foreshorten this foot because it's going to be kind of in your face. And then this hand to a lesser degree because it's coming forward. And then this hand over here, this whole arm is going to go back. generally how the human body works. There's exceptions, but safe bet. And again, we've got the head going this way, torso that way, hips this way. I got to finish this coffee before it gets too cold. All right, so we've done eyes, we've done this, we've done, you know, kind of a 2-character, turning this into like a giant. Captain Kirk says, for characters like Spider-Man or characters that wear a lot of armor, is it better to rough out the body and foreshorten view before doing the costume or armor? Yes, always do the start basic and get do the details last. Because the whole rough like this, let's say she's wearing, let's just say she's wearing Spider-Man's costume, right? It's gonna be a lot easier to tell where the webbing goes on this if I've roughed the body in first. Let me switch to red here and do a different layer. So this would be, so that the form is what's going to dictate. It's going to accentuate it, but I got to have that there before I do all that stuff, right? So any armor, any like, even if you're just doing like a character wearing a shirt with stripes, let's say she just had stripes. The form is going to dictate that. So let me ink a little of this. We'll talk more as I ink. So we're about 30 minutes in. Let me finish this coffee. Hang on. Hold on, one more time. Boom. Okay. Now, get my favorite thing here. Put on the right layer. How about that, Brian? My favorite pen. So even like here, I've foreshortened the eyes, like they're more oval because this is the direction everything's kind of being compressed in. Even that ear is compressed. That's foreshortened just a little bit. I'm just kind of drawing her clavicle through her clothes. I don't care. So basically drawing overlapping cylinders. Just sticking with the basic shapes for right now. In fact, I mean, well, I'm kind of stretching her torso even more than it really would be. Because her belly button would be right there, where she's wearing underwear. And then it's probably actually better like that. But again, there's several different ways you can do it. It's not like there's like, I could move this. I'll undo it in a second. But like if I just did that, and then move this up here, compressed her even more, right? But I mean, that's okay too. make sure I got 4 fingers. All right, so like for this guy here, maybe she's turning into Ultraman. I don't remember what the capsule thing. Buster's username, obligatory entrance, exactly 30 minutes into the stream. That's how everybody rolls here. Or it could be a gun or whatever. It's like this guy here. Make him mysterious. It could be a robot. Slightly foreshortened. And then, actually, what I could do is to have this hand come up as well. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it could come below us. It just looks weird that way. And this is one of those compositional things you got to work out, because his hand disappearing back there, I mean, it could work, but for our purposes here, it doesn't matter. Auto King says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Auto King. Just kind of neaten these things up here. His knee there. There we go. So, and his head is that way, torso that way, hips. Head. Torso. I'm going to move Superman, fake Superman, over a little bit. Jeff Potts just popped up in here. It's a horrible nose. So I hope this made sense. I hope this helped a little bit. If foreshortening was a complete and utter mystery to you. And now I'm pretty much at the point in the stream where I'm just doodling. So if you have any questions, let me know. Oops. Like I could foreshorten his ear too. Now I've really, that's some good foreshortening there on a head. Caleb is here. Oops. The settings wrong for that. Okay, we've got this ear here. This one's there. This whole side of the face is compressed. Doodle Joanna Cameron on paper with Captain Marvel. That's what Hyper Potato, not his real name. That was his suggestion. All right, so the torso here. We'll get this exaggerated foot and hand. So we're going to put some stuff falling off this dude's foot. If I'm holding it that way, the thumb is on the inside. Okay, I had to think. Well, that's worse. That's worse than I did it the first time. All right. So anyway, just barely got McDonald's in time for a breakfast sandwich, says Jeff Potts. So anyway, there we go. Foreshortening. I'll probably neaten this up and make it a post. But again, you're exaggerating things. The more dramatic, the more energy, the more distorted it's going to be. So anyway, there you go. Hope that helps. I got work to do. Everybody like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. there will be me and Siege working on NFT art. We'll be drawing and chatting for about an hour. So until next time, everyone, be good. See you later. Ending the broadcast now.